guys, Lemmy here. How's everyone doing today? As you can see, today's video is going to be sort of bizarre, so please hear me out. We're going to be talking about how to view an art tutorial, advice, how-to video, and all sorts of helpful media on the internet, and actually use that information in a successful way for your own art. So first, I bet you're all wondering, why the heck do we need to watch this video? Like, what is the point? All you need to do is sit there and watch the video or read the tutorial, and that is how you view something. But in reality, things are rarely ever so simple. There comes a point in every young artist's life where they need to look up a tutorial on how to do something that they're either not good at, or they just have no idea what they're doing and they need to know how to do something. Whether it's how to draw an anime face or anime eyes, or how to color an image, most people have been there at some point in their lives. For me, I used to look up tutorials on how to use Photoshop because I literally had no idea how to use it. I had absolutely no foundation in that program whatsoever, and I had to figure it out somewhere, or somehow. There's so many different tutorials on how to do anything made by totally different artists with different ways about going about it. So there could be tutorials on how to draw or how to color. You know, it sounds like a great thing, but it can also really not be. And I've seen so many tutorials on the internet that result in artists drawing extremely similar to the original artist who made the tutorial. And while many people copy or imitate other artists' styles or ways of drawing, many times it becomes so used by the person who is trying to learn that it becomes their way of drawing. You know, you might want to learn how to draw something, but you might not necessarily want to copy the original artist so much that you're kind of just taking their art style and then claiming it as your own. So for tutorials and advice videos and tips and tricks and all these sorts of videos, I really do think that they contribute to so many people ending up drawing so similarly. And I know a lot of people out there think that all anime and all manga look the same, but that's very untrue. Like, Dragon Ball Z looks different from Sailor Moon, which looks different from Naruto, which looks different from One Punch Man, which looks different from Pokemon, which looks different from Cowboy Bebop, and so on. If someone drew in one specific art style or one specific way, then all those shows would look very similar, which would lose some of the magic. But when you're taking a sort of art style like anime or manga, there are many different ways to interpret that, and they all look completely different from one another. So all these different shows, while they do look completely different, they're very recognizable, so you know what characters from which show. And if you start imitating that style from a popular show or a manga or a popular online artist, people are going to notice, like, hey, what you drew in that style, that's so-and-so else's style. So you really don't want to do that because you want to be known for your own art and your own art style. But hey, you might still be like, well, I needed a tutorial, and this tutorial taught me how to draw, and since this person put out a tutorial, then that means it's totally fine if I imitate or copy their work because they put it out there. And I have a story for that. So this was a really long time ago, and I was on DeviantArt, and it was extremely, a really active website, which is not anymore, and there was this extremely popular artist on that website, and actually she's still extremely popular on like every platform there ever was. So I'm sure a lot of people know this artist. I'm probably gonna butcher her name. I always called her Loish, but I've also heard people call her Loish, so I'm not really sure if I'm saying her name correct, but that's not really the point. Anyway, I absolutely love and adore her art style, and she's one of my favorite artists. But at one point in her past, she made a tutorial on how she uses a software program to color her artwork. And this tutorial, I believe, was located in a magazine of some sort. At one point, another girl on DeviantArt saw this tutorial in the magazine and began to imitate Loish's style of coloring. Her sketches were pretty similar looking, to be honest, but the coloring really stuck out. Like, they looked very similar. People began to say that this girl was stealing Loish's art style. And I believe at one point Loish might have said something to her. What exactly it was, I'm not too sure, but I remember seeing that the girl's journal post talked about this matter. And she said, why make a tutorial in a magazine if you don't want people using the tutorial and imitating the style of coloring? I believe later down the road she kind of smoothed things over between the both of them, but that really stuck with me over the years. So that's the question, isn't it? Why are there tutorials if the artist doesn't want us to utilize them to their fullest extent? If there's a tutorial online, isn't it asking for us to imitate someone? After all, it's teaching us how to do something in that way, isn't it? Honestly, I think it's super important as an artist, whether you're just starting out or you're an accomplished figure, that you should look at tutorials in a certain light. Just like as a person, we won't take what one person says to be the reality of the entire world. There are so many different perspectives and techniques on the internet, and we agree with some of them and we might disagree with others. It's important that you don't take one tutorial and stick to that. You should look at a whole bunch of them, take and pick certain information and make it work for you, for what you do. As artists, we generally have our favorites and we really look up to certain people or we respect them a great deal, but it's also really important to figure out that imitating their style still doesn't mean that that's completely your artwork, even though you drew it. Because you're still taking your ideas from someone else unless you start mixing and putting together different ideas to create your own results. You're simply just taking from someone else. I truly feel that what makes the world a special and an interesting place to live in is having so many different people living in it. People look different, people sound different, people think different things and have different experiences. The world would be such a boring place if everyone did everything exactly the same way, art included. So it's kind of like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. One tutorial or one specific artist that has tutorials isn't going to make you a more well-rounded artist. You need to put inspiration and faith from a whole bunch of different sources together and create your own style and your own voice. I know a lot of artists want to grow up to be like the next Bailey J or like Siren from Instagram or like Loish or something like really super popular, super well known. You can make a living off of your art, but if all you're doing is taking your style and your inspiration from like a specific person you look up to, you're never going to get there. You have to develop your own sense of style and your own way of doing things, and eventually people will start looking up to you. And also probably copying your artwork somewhat, but still, it's about becoming a more well-rounded artist, and then you can be successful with your style of art instead of using someone else's style. Anyway, what do you guys think about the matter? Have you ever seen an artist online rely too heavily upon coloring or drawing in a different artist's style? And I don't mean like, oh hey, that's similar. I mean like, oh wow, that's exactly the same thing. Like, there's a total difference between a vague similarity and, oh man, like I couldn't tell, I thought it was made by the original artist. So let me know what you think. And I'm getting married tomorrow and I'm excited. So please wish me good luck, because I'm actually really psyching myself out, because I think I have this, okay, I have this idea. I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna trip when I'm walking out, and everyone's gonna look at me and everyone's gonna laugh. and then I'll laugh too, but then I'll also be on the ground and it will be horrible. So please wish me luck that I don't fall in front of everyone, because that's my major concern for tomorrow. And I'll talk to you guys again in another art video next week. So you all take care of yourselves. Also, let me know how your Inktober's going and if you're still sticking with it. All right, talk to you soon. Bye, guys.